Scooby-Doo.net. Yeah. Well, I had a dream, and I call it the hula hoop dream. Why? You be the judge. Okay? I was rotating my arms as if I had a hula hoop circling each wrist. And as I did this, my feet came off the ground. And the longer I kept my arms rotating, the higher I went. And the easier it was to remain airborne. I cruised forward and I laughed. I went over heavy traffic, across the street, and toward the homes on the hill. I saw some people below me, and I said to them, "Watch me. I'm going to land on that house over there on the hill." Well, I just jacked it up. I'm trying to read this daggone script here. Alright, well, the people below me watched as I cruised over the treetops, and as I glided down onto an anonymous rooftop, I turned and smiled. I looked down for the hoorays, but I saw nobody watching me. This was quite disappointing. I walked to the edge of the roof, and then I saw them. They were almost directly below me, and thus couldn't see me initially when I landed that far back on the roof. But as I moved forward to the roof's edge, I saw them, and they saw me. They were in awe, clapping and cheering and laughing. I stepped from the roof and descended toward them, hovering just above them and mingling with the crowd as I floated. As I did this, I noticed several kids in a glass box on a tower high above the street. They were tossing firecrackers at the crowd and laughing. To them it was a fun thing to do and just a kid's prank. However, the people below were not laughing. It scared them, distracted them, and annoyed them. Well, I rose up, ascending toward the glass box tower, and as I reached this tower, I came face to face with one of the kids, and then eye to eye. The only thing separating us was this dirty glass wall. So I spoke. "You'd better leave them alone." Well, the kids were astonished. They thought to themselves, how did he get up here? There wasn't any ladders, you see. Well, I descended downward toward the ground once again, and as I did so, I noticed a policewoman, or perhaps a parking meter cop. I'm not sure, but she had a light blue shirt on and a dark blue police cap. She was a cop to whatever degree. She was waving and signaling for me to come down over to her. Well, I did so. She said, "You need to follow that newspaper reporter." The policewoman was pointing to a woman with long brown hair and dressed in light brown woman's business pantsuit. This woman was walking briskly away from me on the sidewalk. I could not see her face, just her long hair, straight flowing down her back, so I followed, still hovering inches above the ground. The woman's pace was quick. I had to speed up in order to keep up. Crossing a few intersections, she came to the door of a multi-story building in the business district and entered. I hurried. I had to suspend my floating to enter through the door. Quickly I followed her down a hallway and into a small room. This room, pencils, a small defenseless desk, a table, paper, pens, a cup, a lamp, 2 plain brown wooden chairs, a bed, a counter, a bathroom. This was the woman's studio apartment. She lived alone, maybe a cat or not. Dedicated, works all the time. She turned to face me in the room. She said in a quiet voice, almost a whisper, as not to allow anyone else to hear, "You have to stop. I'm not going to let them publish this, but you have to stop." So I replied, "Stop what? Publish what?" She answered, "They think you are the Antichrist and you need a permit to fly around like that." What? A permit? I don't need any permit to float around. It's a miracle. It's a gift. I can teach everyone to do this for free. And who thinks I'm the Antichrist? Well, I knew who she was referring to. The local newspaper, publishing company, the media. I turned and left the building. As I entered the street, I once again began to rotate my arms. I ascended slowly at first, and then I gained a sense of weightlessness. There was already a crowd forming beneath me. I saw 2 men. One was balding, The other had a hat on, a brownish-gray business hat. I had an object in my hand like a child's bib, blue with white stripes, lightweight, large, perhaps 2 feet wide by 2 feet long, flat, plastic, smooth and clean. I was near a very large billboard, or a neon sign. I said to the men beneath me, "Watch this." I released the plastic object and it began to ascend away from me, weightless on its own. But when it drifted too far from me, it lost its weightless properties and fell quickly. However, it landed on top of the neon sign just out of my reach. I lost my concentration, and when I did, I fell abruptly to the sidewalk below and smacked the concrete, but it didn't hurt. But I woke up from my dream. I wrote this later. I don't know what it all means. I think the ascension is a gift of revelation. The travels and laughing and interaction with the crowd represents sharing truth and revelation of current times. The kids in the tower are propaganda from the snake. The policewoman is a co-laborer with different gifts than I, yet she has a similar mission. The newspaper journalist woman is her accomplice. At least as far as the snake is concerned, I use the term accomplice because the two women work together in defending freedom of thought and truth for the people. I don't know what the flat plastic bib is all about, and I don't know who the two men are, one balding and one with a business hat on, but somehow they are people, and I will meet them in real life. A note on the accomplice. To you, sovereign grand instructors general, we say this, that you may repeat it to the brethren of the 32nd and 31st and 30th degree. The Masonic religion should be by all of us initiates of the high degrees, maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. If Lucifer were not God, would Adonai, Jesus, calumniate, spread false and harmful statements about him? Yes, Lucifer is God, quoted Albert Pike, a bunch of French words, page 588. I wrote that March 23rd, 2009. Not that quote, but that statement. And then I commented some more. I read after 1 year this dream. I read this dream to myself again, and as I did, I was inspired because the interpretation of the dream came to me line by line in a way. I began to convey with words to my wife what it meant. However, the end result of that interpretation, I need to use my weapons. The dream represents a past opportunity to visit Rome for the purpose of casting out a demon from a powerful man and allowing that man redemption. It did not happen, however. The message in the dream did not dissipate. It's meant for people of the world, and it rests on a neon sign. I wonder, what does the neon sign symbolize, and more importantly, what is the message? Again, in February 2011. Since the time of the above experience, I've struggled to justify not visiting Adolfo Nicholas, the boy inside the man, and I've not been able to do so. In fact, I still saved the cell phone message from the Duke in Rome, who expected my arrival. This was 2 years ago about. During my struggles, though, I've returned to this dream and realized the symbol of the mission. It did not fall to the ground, that plastic bib deal. And the revelation was shown. Mankind is not my enemy. Of all the nations, a few men and women stand out with a message proclaiming some piece of truth. However, none of us seem to have it all. Do we want a new world order? I say yes, bring it on. One world under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Whether or not we all agree, the fact remains we all have the same creator, undeniable conclusion by me. The majority of mankind desires peace, a few desire power at any cost, and a select few have it. I go on, I just keep writing forever. But anyways, to conclude on this, I read it again, and it's what's really weird is those two men, one's balding and one's got a hat on. Those are guys that I've solicited to get involved in this project of this website, and the mission of this website basically is to put out a warning, like about 100,000 other guys who come onto YouTube, about martial law and about people dying and chaos and New World Order and da-da-da-da-da. Those guys didn't get involved. And that neon sign, man, is kind of like this website. I mean, the things, the information that's in it. And I've pretty much been driven to pick it up again and produce it in such a way that this message gets out there before the internet is shut down. So, at any rate, I just want to share that with you. And I wish you all the best.